is 5 a.m. All Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas in the three worlds, past, present, and future, practicing Prajnaparamita with us right now. Meher Baba had an amazing career. I wonder, he's most famous for "Don't Worry, Be Happy," which was a poster at Woodstock, 1969, and then became a song, "Don't Worry, Be Happy." This book, I don't know if I'd read much about Meher Baba when I found this book, but perhaps I used to go to Shambhala bookstore and Telegraph in Berkeley, which is now closed and only Moe's Books remains. And maybe I'd been reading Meher Baba because I was reading about Kundalini, and Meher Baba shows up if you search for Kundalini or books about it. But this book was at Shambhala and in the Meher Baba group, and I just could not believe. So I had to browse through it, and it's just an amazing record. I don't, of a time perhaps no longer existing, but like in the 1930s, he had a mandala or a group of disciples. One was a Western doctor, William Donkin, and Baba had undergone an awakening, which he eventually matured out of, or was able to. I mean, it was traumatic at first and left him like Ramana Maharshi in stunned silence and unable to function, like not remembering to eat and so on. But he was able to get the body going again. It's 1941. So this cover picture must be somewhat before that. Oh, this is a mast. He had a favorite mast. The masts are those who had spontaneous awakening or God realization and would appear to be crazy or catatonic to the normal person. But Baba recognized them as suffering from what he had suffered from, and he wanted to help them. And he got his disciples to go look for all over India to find these mast people and bring them to his ashram and help them, wash them and feed them, and because their attention is no longer in the body. they don't think about eating or washing, or they're in cosmic consciousness. So, and this disciple, William Donkin, documented all this work. And it was significant work. It was a huge project. I think they found several hundred masts, although maybe they looked through thousands, or they had multiple disciples who had encountered thousands of them. And so out of those hundreds, there were 5 that Baba worked with. And he did this amazing work, which he never talked about. I mean, he never talked, but he never discussed in his writings, because he would write on slate boards. But he would periodically retreat with these masts by themselves and do what he called work, which he said was of global significance. And coming up, the only record is when they came out of these chamber or room that Baba was with the masts alone in the room for several hours, and coming out, there's one record that one of the disciples who was stationed at the door to make sure they weren't disturbed saw that the mast came out, and he was drenched in sweat, and he just happened to brush by him, and there was a slight contact, and the disciple attendant felt this electric shock through his body. But the masts very much resisted working with Baba, or some of them did. Because it was strenuous, and Baba was not letting them relax, apparently. But what his work was is such a mystery. And no one was able to witness it, apparently. It really is an amazing story. And it sort of relates to this book, which is about spiritual evolution, because Baba was definitely one who had evolved, realizing the potential of the neurological potential, or latent in our physiology for some reason. Why we have these faculties, who knows? There we are. Science will discover it, no doubt. All we need is the right probe, the right instrument to quantify it. But this is a mysterious book of a anonymous practitioner, artist, and the artist who painted these pictures to illustrate this book, which is from, I think, 1988, but he's talking about sort of a New Age summary, but it's very, a lot of good, it's an anthology sort of, but a lot of good records of the New Age at the time, and spiritual evolution, or metanoia, or the Socratic project of waking up from Plato's cave, which has been going on for some 2,000 years, but hasn't really been systematized. And should it be systematized? Or should it just be spontaneous, occasional awakenings of the avatars? And where are the avatars now? That is a question.